saying? Now, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, let me just make sure I got that right. To be honest, he probably should have took a medical and went back to college. He grows up, he found that, and he was great at it, better than a lot of his peers his age. I'm finally better than y'all or something. And he's feeling the love. And put your team down in the comments, and you know what I mean, I'll try to put them in there, especially the ones the people who support the thing. And it's the conundrum that we've always, they're telling you that your brand means more than the hard work. Why in the world would you ever say something like that? All you gotta do is just pay attention to what's going on. Lord. Let's go. Yeah, what up? As I can see, I got my man DP. What's up, D? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. Ready for this season to get started, man. We almost here, man. The countdown is real, baby. Week 0 coming soon.
We here. It's all the way in. We end season, bro. We are in season. That, we here, preseason here. I just done me a little preseason game matchup, talking about the games and what I want to see out of the preseason games. I did all the games too. So, well, for week 1 anyway, not all of them, but just for week 1. But the season here, baby. What's up with everybody, man? Everybody tuned in. I see everybody coming in. As y'all coming in, man, hit that like button, man. We appreciate y'all support out there, man. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate the support. Got my man DP up here with me today. And we're going to walk y'all through a bunch of college football topics today. And I also dropped the link just in case there's some guests out there. People would like to put their input on it. You know what I'm saying? But let's just be kind for the guests. You know what I'm saying? Keep it about sports. That's all we ask. Right, D? That's all we ask, right?
Yes, sir.
Keep it about sports. You know what I mean? Keep it on track about sports. You know what I mean? Support your argument. Have an argument. That's all we ask up here. But so there's been a bunch going on. And where do I start at? Let's see. So where do I actually start? So I got this pulled up. And I actually want to start with Josh Pate saying that college football should never get rid of the preseason polls. And I think I'm with keeping them, right? But we have to understand that what the preseason polls actually are, right? They're conversation starters. They give us expectations. They give us something to argue about. They create the early season stakes. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And the problem comes when we start treating the preseason rankings like they proven facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, nobody played a game yet, bro. So, that's, starting off with just that, because that's what Josh Pate had to say. And this up here, too, by the way. But Josh Pate had to say that. Now, what do you have to, what's your opinion on the preseason polls and the preseason rankings and what's up, whatnot? What's up, Carlito's Way? Thank you for coming in, bro. You know what I'm saying?
What it do, Carlito? Me, honestly, man, basically just a starting point, man. Some people look a lot into it, like how they had Miami ranked number 7. I really wasn't mad at it. I don't want to be a paper champion, no way. I already go out there and prove it on the field, you feel me? So as far as, the preseason polls, it's just a starting point. And a lot of times be the coaching polls also, you feel me? Some people get mad about a lot of SEC teams being the majority on the list, but at the same time, when I watched, like you said, Josh Pate, when I watched it, I kind of had to agree with him. Like, who you going to replace those SEC teams with, you feel me? If you do remove some of them, what other schools in the top 25 you feel like deserve to be there besides the team that they put there? So I really couldn't argue with that point.
Right. That he made a great point there too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I was talking about too, like there's so much that come with that. You know what I mean? That's what get us. I feel like that's the fans pregame for the season. That's how we get ready for the season. You know what I mean? That brings on the conversations because and as I look at lists, I think they're subjective anyway, right? Because if you made a top 25 preseason poll, I have a different one. You know what I mean? And Carlito, I have a different one. And you know what I'm saying? And so forth and so on, et cetera. So And you do make a great point there. And I didn't watch that particular show about him. I seen the headline. I seen what he said because it's been buzzing around the net, right? That what Josh Pate said that. You know what I mean? I guess he was cooking when he said that. I didn't actually see that clip.
He was cooking when he said that. I couldn't deny. But at first, I was like kind of biased. I was like, yeah, well, them SEC teams up there. But then when he like kind of broke it down, I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, who would I put in place of those teams? I try to think about other conferences, and I'm like, you feel me? So I had to give him his credit. Yeah,
you're right. The Blue Buds got it right. You hear? That's a fact. So, and then. Moving on into, what I'm saying, other topics that we got going on here. You let me know who's down in the comments, D, because I'm working the screen. So, I can't see that. So I appreciate your help, D. If you let me know, like if anybody comment or need to put up or they come in. So Georgia, Kirby Smart in Georgia, right? Here we go with Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Every year somebody talking about somebody when they ask, is Georgia still Georgia, right? And the standard is Kirby Smart. This is what Kirby Smart created. And it ain't if you want to sit there and ask, like, can Georgia win 9 games? That's without a doubt. We're not asking whether Georgia can make a bowl game. Nah, we ain't doing that. Like, so what is fans really want to ask when it comes to Georgia? Can Georgia win a national championship? And that's just a different level of expectation. I get that, D. I get that. But at the same time, though, Georgia has recruited too well. They developed too many players for me to be just to be counted out with Kirby Smart to talk about them not being able to go and win a national championship. What you say to that?
Yeah, I think some people might be looking a little bit too far into it because they won the SEC last year and they didn't have a good pass rush. Feel me? That's saying a lot. They didn't have a good pass rush as usual, like how they usually have those top guys on the edge or in the interior, but they still managed to, come with the ship as far as the SEC championship. Now, playoff is one thing, and that's probably the reason why they got knocked out in the first playoff game they played because they couldn't get pressure on Trinidad Chambers. But Gunnar Stockton, he showed me a lot more than I expected because I was a little lower on him than most people, but he made me a believer. So I feel like Gunnar Stockton is a lot better than people may perceive. So Georgia, just because they still got Kirby Smart, they got one of the best secondaries in the nation, and they got talent all around that roster. So I'm kind of confident in Georgia. I don't feel like they fell off at all. You feel me? So
all right,
we will see this season what they're gonna do. If it look crazy this season, then we might have something to talk about. But I think Georgia's gonna be very competitive this year as usual.
Okay, all right. I mean, look, I ain't got nothing wrong with that, and I guess Pate was cooking because I'm like, I got a couple things that I like to talk about too. Now, I do like Josh Pate. I shout out to Josh Pate. I do like his show. Pate. You know what I mean?
Like
he do got a good college football show. You know what I mean? Now, another crazy thing is that he mentioned was, now this is about to get interesting, right? Could Navy become a college football playoff sleeper? Could they? Now hold on. I'm not trying to be funny, y'all, because look, expanded playoff. When you expand the playoff, now that just changes the whole conversation for programs that's just outside of all your traditional power and group. You know what I'm saying? Navy they don't got to recruit like they Georgia. They ain't got to recruit like they Ohio State. They ain't got to have a Texas or a Miami roster to get the job done in their particular conference, right? They need to play their style of football, control the possessions, limit their mistakes out there. You know what I'm saying? Play good football. And I think the problem comes like when Navy face teams with like overwhelming size. It's, you know what I mean? When the big guys, when they go when they get into the playoffs per se, that's when the problem comes. But like, my question to you, DP, is do you think that Navy can be a college football playoff sleeper? And if so, or if not, explain why.
With me, with the whole G5 school thing, man, honestly, me personally, I don't like it. But I feel like it's kind of robbing the ACC or the Big 12 for getting 3 teams possibly in the college football playoff. Because, like you said, once they get to the point where they got to play those bigger schools, those bigger, the trenches,
right?
they're not gonna really do much. You feel me? So I just feel like it's a space that need to be, better. It's more suitable for a P4 team is what I'm basically trying to say. And like we said in the past, man, G5 schools, they need their own playoffs, man, to give those fans more to cheer for than just a bowl game. Right. That's all really they playing for at this point is bowl games, because you can get that playoff spot, just because you're a G5 school, that one playoff spot. And if you get lucky, how last year, which I don't think that's going to happen again, because the ACC, they don't fix their basically, tiebreaker rules. So Navy, yes, they are a good program as far as competing on their particular level. But when it comes to, like you said, playing the big dogs, man, they just don't have enough. They don't have enough depth, man.
So your answer is no. They can't be a playoff sleeper.
Yeah, it's no to me. I don't see a G5 school going in the playoffs and doing anything big. You feel me? Like, it's not college basketball. It's college football.
Right.
That's Cinderella stuff. You feel me? It's not going to fly in football, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think so neither. I don't think so. But now, and there's another thing. So, because I'm keeping it flowing, because I know I ain't got you long, right? I'm trying to keep it flowing. I think I've been flowing pretty well, right?
I'm chilling, shoot. I'm off, so I don't gotta go to work. I'm chilling.
All right. Ohio State defensive line. Now, this is a thing. Ohio State we can say that they loaded with talent. They recruit well. We can sit here and be like, all right, we know that Ohio State does well with that, but championships ain't won on paper, dog. Yeah, just like you just said, everything look good on paper, but I don't know what their front is looking like. And if a defensive line like Ohio State's biggest question coming into this season, y'all, is I'm paying very close attention to. If they saying that in the headlines, you got to start asking questions. And the questions that I got is like, can they, excuse me, y'all, because I know your boy be ready, right? Can they consistently pressure quarterbacks without bringing extra defenders? Can they control the run? You know what I'm saying? Can they dominate on third down? Because, I mean, when we talk about Ohio State, the game gets into different games. And now the best is against the best in the Big Ten. And eventually playoff caliber teams in the trenches becomes everything, correct? I'm just saying. When it comes to playoffs, so my question is, can Ohio State still win a national championship if their defensive line is good but not dominant?
Usually I'm the guy that always, you feel me, give Ohio State a hard time about their schedule. But this season, I can't give them a hard time about their schedule. They got a pretty, respectable schedule this upcoming season, man. You got Texas for your second game. They got Iowa coming in ranked 19 this year. Then you got Indiana, USC, and Oregon. And all three of those games are back to back to back. And then they play the game at the end of the year. So the schedule looking pretty competitive. Now, I'm pretty sure the offense is going to be explosive as per usual. Now, the offensive line, I'm pretty interested to see how the offensive line has, improved. They got Bo Jackson coming back. Defense, they lost a lot on defense, man. You lost Caleb Downs, you lost my boy Sonny Styles, and you lost my boy Arnell Reese. Yeah, so they lost a lot on defense, but like you say, they recruit at a high level. So it's really to be seen with Ohio State this year, just for the simple fact of what they lost in the schedule. Because you never know what. I trust that Kurt Cinetti gonna be physical. Now, how good they're gonna be, I don't know. But then right after that, you got to play Lincoln Riley and the Trojans. Then you got to go see Dan Lanning, in the Oregon Ducks. So
right.
It's going to be real interesting, man. I'm pretty sure they can get 10 wins, but this first time they're going to really have to, get it out of the mud in the regular season.
Look, I got to say, so what's your answer? So can Ohio State win a national championship if its defensive line is good but not dominant? Can they do it? Yes or no, dog?
Oh, well, honestly, if they lose 2 games in the regular season, I feel like they got a stronger chance to win it, because then they got that taste of blood. I feel like last season the schedule was so easy it kind of hurt them in the playoffs when they started really playing a good team. Like they wasn't expecting Miami to come out there and play the way Miami did. They haven't seen a defensive line like that the whole season yet, last year. But now they're coming in, you feel me? If they make it to the playoffs this upcoming season, they will be more battle tested than they was last year.
All right.
So yeah, they will have a strong chance of winning if they do.
All right. So I mean, I'm gonna just straight up say if their defensive line is good but not dominant, could they win in the playoffs? I'm gonna go ahead and just answer and keep it real. No, Ohio State can't do it. No. Their defensive line has to be dominant when you get into the playoffs. That's been shown. If your defensive line is not dominating, if you're not getting at least 2 sacks in the playoffs, your defense, you're not going to win a national championship in today's football. The way that this today's college football is set up, you're not going to win a national championship. So yes, they do have to be dominant, and a Matt Patricia defense has to be shown up, because I think they were good last year and they didn't, and it didn't show. They went into Miami versus that offense. You couldn't tell me that Matt Patricia's defense versus Shannon Dawson's offense that Shannon Dawson was going to be dominant over Matt Patricia, especially the way that defense was playing early on, right? And they act like they have never played against that caliber of player. When they came into the playoffs, they became good versus a offensive line that was also, they were overwhelmed by. So I'm not going to sit here and just lie and keep it real. No, my question is, just to put in the context, y'all, I didn't say that Ohio State can't win a national championship. I said, if their defensive line is good but not dominant, could they win? That's my question. If Ohio State's defensive line is good but not dominant, could they win a national championship? That's my question. And no, if it's good, they will not win it. It has to be dominant in today's college football. That's what I put.
And I feel like the 2 games that'll tell us a lot with them is the Texas game and the Indiana game. Because last season, I was surprised the way Indiana, competed with those guys last year. I was expecting Ohio State to go in there, control the trenches, dominate them. It was just a competitive game, honestly, even though the kicker missed some big kicks. But you shouldn't be in a situation where you got to depend on your kicker, especially if you Ohio State going against a program Indiana, even if Kurt Cinetti there. But big ups to Kurt Cinetti for, being physical and getting the job done.
It just seemed like, when we talking about Kurt Cinetti in Indiana, like they were very different, right? And he adjusted to every single team. Like every team that they played a different style. Like, and I think that's what made that team so tough to prepare for when you watch them on tape. And you try to prepare for Indiana because they adjusted to what you did best. Like, and I know that's a real general statement to make, y'all out there. We could say that for a lot of teams out there, right? I could take exactly what I just said, and apply it to, all 134 football teams, right? But the problem is, y'all, is that not all 134 teams are able to do just that. They take away your strongest thing that you do and make you play at your weakness. Kurt Cinetti and that staff over there Indiana was actually able to do that, and they were able to attack you offensively, whichever way they were able to attack you that way. And from offensively and defensively schematic, that's why that team was able to go 16-0. It's really a thing to look at. And I'm sure, like, even when I go back and I'm watching some of these Indiana games as of late, and I was like, man, I'm like, yo, like, I'm learning film and stuff. Like, there's still like, I got to learn watching film, but I'm like, damn, this looks like a masterpiece. They're switching things up every week. That's why they were able to do that. And, just to speak on that, and that's why they were so tough to go up against, because, I didn't think I didn't know if they was going to win a national championship. I was like, look, I said, look, when they play Miami, it's going to be tough, right? When they played y'all, I was like, it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
but schematically, I think they can hang. But talent-wise, y'all way out-talent them. And I know even you were shocked, like, wow, like how? Like, you know what I mean?
But I feel like we let them off the hook in that game, man. We didn't take advantage in the first half what we did in the second half. Second half, we started taking advantage of getting the ball outside, running outside, and take advantage of us having them massive tackles.
Right.
First half, Dawson kept trying to run up the middle, you feel me? And Kurt Sneddon wasn't going for that. So you feel me? To each his own, man. We got to see if we can get back there and take advantage of our opportunity, you feel me? But
Right.
hey,
I
Miami got to get the job done, though.
right. Now, as I could see, right, and I ain't going, and I ain't knocking on that. I'm just saying, like, I was just, that's a good team. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it is. It's a real good team. Like, he well coached, very fundamentally sound, and from a schematic standpoint, they adjusted well to every team that they face. Now, USC, right? The USC improved physicality, right? Now, I know they lost one of their players, correct? They lost one of their players, offensive lineman or something, or center, Keelan O'Connor, right? And people are saying, overlooking the center because it's really not a glamorous position. It's not one of those positions that just stand out at you on the field. But I'm telling you, that's important, right? The center
Very important.
Communicating the protections, identifying fronts, handling interior pressure, and keeping all that pressure and the entire offensive line organized is important, right? That's your head guy on the offensive line. Now, USC believes that they improve the physicality, right, at USC, because that team has to come out and play physical in order to win the Big Ten. But can that help soften the loss of what they just lost in their center? They just lost their center because there's a difference between just looking more physical and proving that you're good against elite defensive fronts. So my question is, has USC finally become physical enough to survive major injuries in the trenches?
So my thing with USC has really been the same thing with Lincoln Riley since he was at Oklahoma, man. It's always the defense, man. I have high confidence in Lincoln Riley being able to put points on the board. And like you said, last year they was very physical. They was able to run that ball up and down the field, play physical on offense. Even Miller Moss, even though he didn't give him that much, you feel me, when he was there. And now they got the quarterback. What his name? Mayava?
Yeah, Jaden Maeva. However you pronounce it. I know you're talking about Jaden Maeva that played at UNLV. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
He's a dog, man. They got a good quarterback, but it's always the defense, man. It's always the trenches, the linebackers. If he can stop other teams from scoring points on them, man, it's always been Lincoln Riley's problem. He hasn't been able to stop teams when he need to stop teams. You feel me? Get over that hump. So until Lincoln Riley proved to me that he can, stop some teams with the schedule. The schedule is doable, but at the same time, man, it ain't easy, man. They got some highly titled games on here. They got Oregon, they got Washington and Penn State all back to back. Then you got to go see Ohio State and Indiana. Those games are back to back, but you get a bye week between that. So they just got to prove they can stop some teams, man. If they can sneak out a win or two out of the 4 games that I said and end up getting coming out of there with 10 wins, maybe they hit the playoffs. Because one thing I'll say, I would love to see a playoff game with Miami and USC, the battle of the big city. You feel me? Yeah, you feel me? We don't get to see that matchup that often. I would love to see that matchup. Coast to coast, big city in the playoffs. You feel that'd be a lot of money, a lot of TV money, but. Lincoln Riley got to get it done, man. I feel like if he don't get it done this year, it might be time for USC to move on unless they are okay with only winning 9 games a season.
But who do you think is USC's toughest teams? Like, who do you think USC, like, on their schedule? Who do you think is the toughest? Hold on, I got their schedule pulled up too, by the way, D. So I'll have you take a look at it.
So I got to pull it up also.
Oh, you got to pull it up also? Okay, so
you can pull it up for the fans, though.
Okay, who was the toughest team on their schedule? They got San Jose State first, at home. They got Fresno at home. They got Louisiana Raging Cajuns at home. They go on the road to Rutgers. They got Oregon at home, Washington at home. Then they go to Happy Valley to play Penn State under Matt Campbell. Then they go to Wisconsin to play the Badgers. Then they got Ohio State at home. Then they go to Indiana to play. They got Maryland at home, and then they finish the season in the Rose Bowl. I don't know if you want to say if that's a away or home game versus UCLA. I don't know. So, I mean, what would y'all say is the toughest games?
Honestly, the big 3, man, the Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. If you lose those 3, you're 9-3 right there. And then you never know what the new head coach at UCLA gonna bring to the table. He might sneak one in on you if you don't
Bob
put them
Chesney.
on. Yeah, if your defense don't come to play, and my boy Nico's still there, you feel me? Nico air it out on you and make some plays on you. You never know. So Lincoln Riley really got to prove that he can do something with that defense. You feel me? And honestly, we don't know what Penn State might look like. I'm not that high on Penn State this year, but you never know. Penn State might give him a run for his money. So
Facts.
Yeah, USC, he has to show that he can stop the other team from scoring points on him. Because I believe in the offense. The offense ain't the problem.
Right. I mean, so the defense, I think. So I got the schedule pulled up, and I think the defense has been answered, right? Because when you look at last year, some of these last year scores, right? Like, I can't say it was an answer all the way, but look, I mean, so you Purdue, we could just to start up the season. I don't really think you want to look at the Purdue. That was a blowout. Michigan State defense got to tighten up in that game. You can't let 31 up versus Michigan, right? Michigan State, but that's early on. That was the third game of the season, right? They lost to Illinois last year. A very good Illinois team that I may add that Brett Bielema put together that had Luke Altmaier at quarterback. They had some defensive, some NFL caliber defensive tackles, you know what I'm saying, on that defense over there at Illinois too. So I don't want to take that away from them. They played Michigan very well, held Michigan at 13, but then this is where it come in, like that Notre Dame game. That was a good one, believe it or not. That 10-point score, but you think Notre Dame, they ran the ball. They got two running backs, that two-headed monster in Notre Dame, which is crazy last year. Let's not front. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price was crazy last year. But Nebraska, I think that was a low-scoring game. That was a tough team. They slept on. They lost a lot of games. I think they shouldn't. But let's not forget Emmett Johnson, the running back on Nebraska, is a problem. He with Andy Reid in the Chiefs right now, but Northwestern, that's a tough team. Iowa, very tough team. Not only they, and 5 points. Don't know if this quite gonna be there though. You know what I'm saying? Like but I think they on a. What I'll say is, I'm not gonna sit here and say like the defense is there. What I'll say is, let me rephrase that, right? I think it's coming, right? So I feel where you coming from with that. I think the defense is coming, but the expectations for SC this year. SC got to be in the playoffs this year. They got to. He's been there long enough now. I know he's had those, he's always had good offenses. He never really had a good defense, but SC got to make the playoffs, bro. They got to. But another question is, if they don't make their playoffs, do you get rid of Lincoln Riley? Do you get rid of Lincoln Riley if Lincoln Riley does not make the playoffs, DP?
In that case, it all depends on what's out there and if you're willing to go snatch a coach from somebody else's program and pay them a lot of money. You feel me?
Right.
In that you feel me? In that sense, because it ain't really no coach that I can think of that's out there in the free market. So you're gonna have to snatch somebody up. Now, say if they go get a guy like Dan Mullen, if he want to go to USC, but he might still be in the same situation because Dan Mullen, he's not worried about defense that much. You feel me? He's another offensive guru. So, and more so, they might just have to find a very, very elite defensive coordinator. Now, don't come to Miami trying to get my boy Corey Heatherman. Y'all go somewhere, y'all go somewhere else and find y'all another defensive coordinator or something. But really, I feel like Lincoln Riley, he really needs a strong defensive coordinator to help him out on the defensive end. Because the schedule, what I'm looking at for this upcoming season is a little tougher than last season. And
it is.
Even though they beat Iowa, you got Iowa allowing them to score 21 points, and they don't even throw the ball like that.
Yeah.
So
it is tough. It is tough. Like, and they threw the ball enough last year with what is it? Gronkowski, his name was that played quarterback for Iowa last year, number 11 or something. He threw the ball around a fair amount last year with Iowa, and they put up more points than they was expected to, and then they finished off winning a bowl game versus Vanderbilt. But, so they threw the ball around a decent amount. But without a doubt, I think that it's fair to say that this year's schedule is a little bit tougher than last year's schedule. I think you can say that without a doubt because even you look at the conference play, I mean, Washington ain't going to be no cakewalk for SC. You're going to have to go play Washington, right? You're going to have to go play them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he ain't just giving up an L. Like, let's not forget that. They got Fisher over there, right? Jeff Fish, right? Jed Fish over there, right? With Washington,
And they
correct?
got their quarterback back also.
Yeah. Yeah, he over. I can't remember his name right now, but yeah.
I think his last name Williams, because he tried to hop in the portal, but they wanted to sue that man, so he
Darren
hopped right
Williams.
back on the squad.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And that's a little bit of controversy too, though. Don't know if that's going to be a big thing, if that, but they're gonna have to go play Washington. I don't know. Wisconsin was in the top 25 preseason polls. Some got them right there, which is crazy.
Wisconsin, they have to show me, man. They ain't been jumping around in Wisconsin,
which is crazy,
man.
They said they've been recruiting. They've been recruiting well. Like Luke Fickell, I mean, the AD over there said he's gonna give him some time. So this year for them, like his back ain't even against the wall right now in Wisconsin. I mean, they ain't been recruiting that way, but I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna get out of them. So I can't depend on. I'm not saying at all that Wisconsin's gonna beat SC. No, I'm not saying that. That's insane to sit here and say that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I don't know what you get out of them. I don't know. Like, where is the barometer? What they're supposed to be doing or not?
A sneaky game for them is them going all the way to New Jersey to play Rutgers, going across the country. You feel me? That jet lag, you never know. You feel me? They might slip up.
I like that. I like that.
That's what I'm saying. You never know. You feel me? That might be a sneaky game for them.
I like that.
They can't drop it. They can't drop it. You feel me? You got too many other tough games to play if you even decide to drop that one. Because after that, you got to play Oregon.
I'm gonna say that it come down to the last game of the season for me. I think he was on par for that. As y'all know, I'm big on UCLA too this year, right? They're my dark horse for the Big Ten, right? And it does have to do with Bob Chesney. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they got a good coach, man.
They also have been recruiting well too. Their recruiting has been going well. You know what I'm saying? And from SC got their new facility and everything that make it look more fancy, but UCLA been grabbing more players from right underneath their nose, and they're gonna have to play that game. That's gonna come down to it. For some reason, that UCLA game is a sneaky game for me. SC finishing off with UCLA at the end of the season. It's going to come down to the wire because, like you said, you can't just overlook Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. Those big three right there is going to be tough, right? And then you got UCLA. Just to add to it, I don't think Washington's going to be a walk in the park. That's almost like, look, bro, look at that. They got Oregon. They got Oregon at home. Then they got Washington at home. Then they have to travel across country, like how you said, against a team that I think that's better than Rutgers in Penn State, right? And then they, and you know what I'm saying? And then they got Wisconsin, that's a layoff, but then they got Ohio State, Indiana. Then they got they
gotta go back cross country. Yeah. Well, Maryland, they got Maryland home, look like.
Right. They got Maryland at home. Right. And then USC, you could say that's at home away. Yeah. I mean, it's right there though, Cali, right? So
they right across the street from each other.
It's tough. It get tough for SC, man. It get tough for them. I ain't gonna lie, it get tough for SC. But if I tell you what, he said Inglewood versus Hollywood, right? Yeah, you feel me? So, they got a ball. They got to come out and they got to show up. But their schedule is so tough that if they get, I would think if they get at least 9 wins, right, and they don't drop a game outside of the big three, I think they got a case to sit there and argue and say, depending on how them scores is, if they should be that last seed in the playoffs or not, depending on how it gets shaped out. I'll say that.
I just feel like that's another reason why we don't need no G5 schools in there, because you're going to have SEC schools with the same argument. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some 9-win SEC schools that be like, oh, we deserve to be in there because we had to play this, that school. And I looked at some of the teams in the SEC. They do have some tough schedules over there. I can't deny. You got Texas, Florida, Oklahoma. Like, you got some teams in the SEC with some tough schedules, man.
You do. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think a G5 should get in either, D. Yeah. And you're right. I don't think so, D. Like, because when you got those 9 games and like that, you argue a 9-win team should be able to get in depending on what they 3 losses is, because that's tough, right? That's tough to leave a 9-win team out of a 12-team playoff at that 12 seed. When you get to that 11 and 12 seed, that is hard to leave a 9-win team out, especially if their schedule is harder, right? I think it's hard.
And so if you want to be honest, man, it's really a 10-team playoff, because if Notre Dame finish in the top 12, they automatically in, and then you got the G5 school. So it's really a 10 seed. And then you're gonna have your 3 SEC teams get in there. So man, it just ain't right.
It ain't. You right. It ain't, bro. It ain't right, because that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have, like, just looking at their schedule, like I said, if it was to drop those 3 games, how could you not argue? Let's just hypothetically speaking, right? Hypothetically speaking, for out there, y'all, they lose to Oregon by a touchdown, right? They lose to Indiana by 3. They use the Ohio State by 3. Do you not think that, and they win the rest of their schedule? They win the rest of their schedule handily. They handle all these other teams on their handily. Do you think, including UCLA, do you think that, hypothetically speaking, that a 9-win SC would deserve to be a 12 seed in a playoff? You could agree, disagree, say what you need to say.
The rest of the country look like, man. But that's not a bad take, though. But it all depends on what the rest of the country look like, man. Me personally, this might be a hot take,
right?
But with Josh Hoover at Indiana, USC might be able to sneak one out against Indiana, man, depending on how Hoover come and play in the Big Ten. Because, he was interception prone in the Big 12. I want to cough that thing up.
You know what? Shout out to Coach Pro. Shout out to my dog, Coach Pro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he watching or not, but shout out to my dog.
What up, LNV? We got LNV in the comment section, my boy.
Okay, what's up, LNV? What's up? What's going on? What's going on, LNV? And Carlito's way said they should. Carlito's way said they should get in there. If that hypothetically speaking, they should be able to get in there if that was the case, right? Now, and shout out to Pro, but hypothetically, like, he said that. He was like, that is a sneaky game. SC, because people already have Indiana favored in that game, right? Correct? They already had that favored for in November. He was like, SC may be able to pull that one off in Indiana. And vice versa. Do you keep Indiana out if they drop the SC, though? It's crazy.
And the reason why I say if Indiana don't win that game, because I don't think Indiana's schedule that tough this upcoming season, man. Like, they first 6-7 games, they playing a whole bunch of nobodies for real, man. And Kurt Cincinnati, you know what you're doing, man. You taking advantage of them, only allowing you play 9 conference games. You gonna schedule some scrubs outside of the conference, man. So Kurt Cincinnati, you talk that talk. You is a big dog, but man, you gotta play some big dog teams also, man. You just can't be talking and playing pups.
To defend that though, Indiana.
What up, Chris Kane? What it do, baby?
Okay, I'll put him up there. What up? What's up, Chris Kane? What's up, man? Like, I didn't. So when you look at, I got Indiana's schedule pulled up now to play Angels exceptional, because I hate saying the D word, right? I like to play with words, right? But you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I know God protect me. I don't want to play devil's advocate. I'll play the Angels Avenger. You heard me?
Man to that, brother.
But so Indiana's schedule was made out in advance, correct? They've been a historically bad program. So
yeah, that's why you can't really argue with it.
Right. That's why we really can't say, like, the schedule was already mapped out, right? You know what I'm saying? And they've been historically bad. So the fact that, a historically bad program who has been under 500 since forever, our entire lives, you know what I mean? That's no joke, and now they got a schedule that looks like this. I mean, they start off with North Texas at home, Howard at home, Western Kentucky at home, Northwestern at home. They go to Rutgers. Then they got Nebraska. They got Ohio State at home.
It started to pick up. Once you get after Nebraska, it started to pick up a little bit. Then you feel me?
So do you respect that schedule though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many games? They got 5 tough games on their schedule. 5 tough ones. I would say. I mean, and I don't even want to say tough. I only want to say 5 tough ones. I want to say 1 tough game. That they Ohio State, right?
Michigan. I'll say 3.
You'll say 3?
Yeah, Ohio State, Michigan, and USC. You feel? Because they should whoop Washington and they should whoop Minnesota, but you never know what Minnesota gonna.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said.
You never know what PJ gonna do out there in Minnesota.
Right. So, I mean, yeah. No, Indiana. I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. I'm gonna say it if nobody else gonna say it. Indiana gotta win. They gotta have 10 wins to get into the playoffs. Indiana can't do no 9-3 off this schedule.
Yeah, they can't. They
can't go 9-3 off this schedule. I'm keeping it a buck. If Indiana don't win 10 games, they will not get into the college football playoff. That's my take. And let's see. And they got a big 3. They got 3, right?
And then to that point, you better hope Michigan have a good season also, because you go in there and whoop a 5-5 Michigan or a 7-win Michigan. How impressive is that? You feel me?
It ain't impressive at all to beat a Michigan team that ain't that good. We just gonna be real with it. It ain't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now I'm hoping that Williams, the quarterback from Washington, I'm hoping Washington have a good year. That may look like a good win for Indiana. It may look like that, but we don't know how it may shape out. Now Northwestern, they may wind up being a decent team. With Chip Kelly being there, I don't know how that's gonna look. I don't know.
Yeah, they should handle them.
You know what I mean? They should handle them. They should. But you just don't know. Like David Braun's been on the creep. Like that coach has been on the creep at Northwestern. Northwestern have been silently creeping in there. I've been paying attention more and more because, as you know, Colorado got them week 3. So I've been looking into this Northwestern team more and more, and I'm like, what was they missing for the past couple years? They got Chip Kelly, and if Chip Kelly can replicate with Aiden Childs or what he was able to do with Will Howard up at Ohio State, I think Northwestern can have one of those 8-win seasons and maybe pull a game off or 2 that they're not supposed to win. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying they're going to beat Indiana. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that Northwestern can be a better team with Chip Kelly being there and Aiden Childs and him being a similar quarterback to what Will Howard was. We know that he likes to run the ball, the physical nature of Northwestern, and Aiden Childs being in that RPO system that Chip Kelly runs. Aiden Childs is designed for him to get off in. So we'll see what happens, but anything else you want to add before we move on to the next one, dog?
I was about to say they got some talent now, man. They got a nice transfer portal class, you feel me? And then you got Kurt Sneddon, so we shall see. I don't got too much else to say about that, though.
Right. Now, okay. Now, this was crazy for me, right? This was crazy. They talking about Oregon's tight end, Jamari Johnson. Can he be better than Sadiq? Can he be better than Sadiq for Oregon? Now, Oregon, they keep finding these good guys, and I'm asking rather like people sitting out there asking, the internet going crazy, can Jamari Johnson be eventually better than Ken and Sadiq? Now, that's huge, big to say out there. But Johnson, he got an opportunity to become another matchup problem for Oregon's offense. We know how they like to use their tight ends, and he can be elite, and it's dangerous to have that in their particular offensive scheme, right? He's too big for defensive backs, too athletic for the linebackers, useful in the red zone, useful over the middle of the field, and he got the potential to be a good blocker. And I'm watching how Oregon is about to use him. I'm going to be watching how they use him, especially this big talk that they coming out and saying that. But if Johnson could take the next steps, Oregon could have another serious weapon. You know what I'm saying? Defenses is going to have to plan for week in and week out. But I just gotta ask the question, D, and there's no right or way. Or do you think Jamari Johnson can have a better season than Kenyon Sadiq had last year with this Oregon's offense?
I mean, it's possible, you know. So that that really got to be played out, that situation. My question with Oregon more so is like, how would that offensive line unit look, man? Because I feel like that's really what's been holding Dan Lanning back. You feel me? Like each season, you know, they have some of the top wide receivers, the top quarterback, defense be looking good, D line be looking good, defensive back be looking good, but the O line really what sell them short a lot. Like Indiana dominated their offensive line. Even Texas Tech. If Texas Tech could have had a little something on offense, you feel me? It might have been a more competitive game. So really, they got to protect my boy Dante Moore and really just make that thing look better. Because at this point, with Dan Lanning, I feel like it's your player development at this point. You feel me? Every season you come falling short because your offensive line is not coming to the table.
Now,
go ahead. I was about to say,
so they got on their offensive line. I just talked about Oregon. How long? It wasn't it just like last week or something, or the week before last? I know I had made a couple of shorts or something about in Oregon and all that. So I just talked about them. So I just really looked into their offensive line. Now they do got for their interior offensive line, D, from left guard, center, and their right guard are all seniors, right? And they've all been around Oregon in that system last year. I think the only transfer they got a young left tackle, and I think at right tackle, Michael Bennett, he transferred over, right? I think that's the one transfer that they got over. Where did he transfer from? I think it was Yale. Transferred over from Yale, 6'5", 310-pound tackle, right? And he's also a senior transfer, grad transfer over there. But I'm not saying, you know, that games ain't won on paper, right?
Yeah.
They ain't, but I'm just telling you how the offensive line looks. You know what I'm saying? Now you can continue. Because I remember I heard you saying like, how did they offensive line look and everything? They do have their return in production off the offensive line besides the one position.
Yeah, I was just saying, man, since Dan Lanning, he been doing his thing there, but the old line ain't look how it looked when my boy Mario Cristobal and Coach Mirabal was there, man. They were pushing out top talent left and right. They were. And, they got the talent. It just, I don't feel like they're developing the talent to its elite potential that it could be. You feel me? That's what I think it is.
Right. The way that they like Dante and that causes your quarterback to get happy feet. Dante Moore has to be more settled in the pocket. But that's why I also said that Oregon got one of the best quarterback rooms in college football, right? Because even if you look at their backups, Brock Thomas has been there. Akeem Smith has been there. You know what I mean? He's been there. So Dylan Raiola comes into that room with Dante Moore and those guys that I just talked about for a while. So, Dylan Raiola, he has the experience coming from Nebraska. I've seen him in all types of situations. I've seen him be calm in a pocket. I've seen his toughness in the pocket now and how he stands in the pocket and he delivers, right? And they got two quarterbacks that can get that job done. I think that was smart on their behalf to do that. But the game ain't won by quarterback. The game is won in the trenches, like you said, dog. And it's all up to see it what Oregon's offensive line is about to do. But to answer my own question, and with the people talking about what Kenyon Sadiq did last year and what Kenyon Sadiq is at the tight end position is a rarity. Stop with the nonsense, okay?
Yeah.
What Kenyon Sadiq did at tight end, you know what I'm saying? He's on trajectory to be one of the best in the NFL. We ain't seen a tight end run that fast since Vernon Davis from the 49ers. You heard? So let's just stop with the BS, right? Vernon Davis ran that fast, and Vernon Davis had a decent career in the NFL, right? Think he should have did a lot better being a tight end that ran that fast, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's see what Jamari Johnson
Yeah.
does. You know
That's
what
why
I'm
I was saying
saying?
that's to be seen, man.
Right.
We got to see something. You feel me? Then they got
Right.
to protect the quarterback. And I will say you do need a serviceable to good quarterback to elite quarterback to win games, but it all starts in the trenches, like you said, my guy. If you don't got the trenches to protect him, he can't make his reads. Then he gonna get the happy feet. He gonna start, having a lot of miscues.
Right. Right. Yeah, I feel that, and that's how that happened. So that's how it happened, D. That's how it happened. Now, another thing that we talking about, we going in topics, you know what I'm saying? Topic by topic, you got me. We're going to talk about the Texas offensive line, because everybody want to talk about the quarterbacks down there at Texas, right? And the skill players at Texas. I want to talk about the offensive line at Texas, because Texas, y'all, they can have all the 5-star talent in America. If they can't protect the quarterback or establish the line of scrimmage this year, none of that matters for Texas. Championship football, y'all, it eventually becomes about what, D?
Them trenches.
Right. Can Texas protect? Can they run the football when everybody in the stadium know that they about to run the rock? Or are they going to be that dominant on that offensive line? Can they hold the line up in championship level defense or them defensive fronts that's coming off championship level? I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, them defensive lines we seen last year with two of my favorites in the King Matador and Ruben Baines, and you know what I'm saying, and Black and all those guys for Indiana. If you sitting there thinking right now in your head that, yeah, Texas O-line is set, can they chase the championship then? If they and you like, nah, I'm probably like, I don't know. We talking about other teams take us short. But do we think that Texas, would you agree and say that if Texas has a good offensive line, they'll be able to win the championship, or do they have to have a dominant offensive line to win the national championship? Who?
Me, to be honest with you, man, Texas, they schedule ain't no cakewalk. But I mean, if they could get 10 wins this year, I feel like they got a chance to win it all just because they're so deep. Texas got one of the most expensive rosters in the nation, you feel me? But at the same time, man, it's gonna depend on what Archman, how has he progressed? You feel me? Has he got any better than from last year? Which, me personally, I think this may be a breakout year for Arch Manning, because I feel like he don't got his woes out of the way. Because, last year he was the first time starting. I know he got a little action when Quentin Ewers was there, but they only put him in situational, plays. But when he played last season, it was his first year starting as a full-time starter, you feel me? So I feel like he had to get his feet wet. But this schedule, man, it is not a cakewalk, man. You got Ohio State on there, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Never know what the Gators gonna do, because Gators, they got a few playmakers out there, you feel me? Even though I don't give Gators too much credit, you feel me? They boo-hoo to them. But and then you got Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, and then you got Texas A&M at the end of the season, man. Oh, that's a brutal schedule, dog. I ain't gonna cap to you. But like my boy Coach Pro say, he don't want to hear nothing about no schedule, because they got the talent, supposedly got the talent to get something done. So we gonna see, man. If that O-line can't make nothing shake, though, man, in the SEC, man, you're gonna have a tough time to get some wins.
And I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, and that's why I said what I said about Texas. Like, I think the offensive line matters, right? So I would say they gotta have, because let's see, now I ain't gonna lie, Oklahoma Sooners defensive line ain't no joke.
The defense, period. So you got Brett Venables at the head, man.
Ain't no joke. That defensive line over there ain't no joke, and neither is Texas A&M supposedly. So they finish off with Texas A&M. LSU, I feel like it's going. I feel like they can get LSU. I feel like they can get everybody on here, right? Tennessee, they can get them. I don't know what Ohio State's going to look like right now, defensive line wise, but that's going to be very tough to see how they do week 2. It start right then and there. They come out and see what they do, but it's an out of conference game, so them dropping that game, that don't necessarily knock Texas out. So, but
then too, you gotta go to Tennessee. You gotta go to Neyland Stadium. You gotta go up. You gotta go up in there and get that W out of Tennessee.
Hey, but guess what, dog? Don't nobody care about that. Don't nobody care nothing about that. Don't nobody feel bad about Texas doing all that recruiting they doing, getting the best of the best in every position.
And then too, Chubb, they gotta go to Baton Rouge. You gotta go to Death Valley. You gotta go there.
And that's the way champions gotta win. They got all that. They got all the guys there. They got all the guys. They are straight up loaded. Y'all want to talk about a loaded team? I mean, and look, and granted, not even on paper, but they spending the bread. They spending big bread. I heard people arguing about teams spending money. Man, Texas been spending that bread. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the Longhorns. They got the beef money. They got the beef cattle money. They got the rodeo money. They got the oil money. They got the hamburger money. They got the chicken money. They got the pig money. They got all that money. Huh?
And honestly, I feel like Lane Kiffin getting some of the pressure that Steve Sarkisian should be getting. But to be honest with you, like you just said, all this money y'all been spending and y'all keep coming up short. You didn't even make the playoffs last season. And you had a lot of money spent on that roster, man.
Right.
And your toughest games, you got to go to them. You got to go to Texas A&M. You got to go to Kyle Field. You got to go to Baton Rouge. You got to go to Neyland Stadium. So what you gonna do, man? And then your rivalry at the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma, like Steve Sarkisian, man. If it was me, your butt would be on the hot seat. I ain't gonna cap to you. You hear me?
Woo, my man cooking. That's when I hit that Taco Bell on y'all boys. My man cooking. Ooh, hey, hold up.
My boy won. Wow.
What? You say what? He say what?
Make pies and babies is fun. This man, wow.
hey, dog. That's what she said.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. No, but for real though, man. Man, you ain't lying though. You is not lying, but that schedule is tough. But don't nobody want to hear about all of that though. When you got all that talent on that roster, and just to let y'all know, I mean Cam Coleman, right? Everybody talking about Cam Coleman. They got Hollywood Smothers, Raleigh Brown, Arch Manning, Spencer Shannon on the tight end. They got Brandon Baker on the offensive line. There. Who else they got? Defensive. Well, I don't even want. They got Rasheem Biles at the weak side linebacker. They got him from Pitt. They got Bo Masco at the cornerback. They grabbed up Ian Gafford on the defensive line. They went out and grabbed the best guys to plug and play, plus the experience and the guys that the production that's already been on that team. Like, there is no excuses for Texas to get the job done. Texas fans. And speaking of Cam Coleman, which leads me right into the next topic, Cam Coleman, he could be one of Steve Sarkisian's most dangerous weapons. Like, I've seen him keep catching those one-handed catches at practice, you know what I'm saying, getting busy. Now, if you just think about like how Sark wants to run his offense, right? And how he is offensively with like he like the spacing and the matchups he presents, the explosive plays Texas like to get, because they'll throw a deep ball. Archer let it rip. Let's not get that twisted. Getting playmakers isolated against the defense is what Sark like to do. Now, I could be wrong, but hey, I'm on point. And that's just my take. It's what I'm saying. Now, you get our offense at this type of weapon that Cam Coleman is, bro, that's crazy. Now, the question is, there ain't no denying his talent, what Cam Coleman is doing. There ain't no denying that. Now, I want to see how quick Sark is going to be able to maximize with Cam Coleman on this offense. Is Arch going to be able to deliver him the ball? And partially with this offensive line is huge. Like, they got everything they need to make the playoff run. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to ask this question, right? Because we on Texas. If Sark misses the playoffs this year, what does Texas do, D?
It's really, that's pretty much similar with the old Lincoln Riley situation, man. Like, who's out there? Who you gonna go grab if you do decide to fire him? Who you gonna replace him with?
Right now, yeah, go ahead.
And me personally, like, them moving to the SEC, I know they did it for the money, but if they were still in the Big 12, they'll be running the Big 12 right now. They'll be dominating the Big 12. But the simple fact that you in a tougher conference man, like you gotta keep him. You just gotta give him a chance, and hopefully he just go on a run. Because it ain't no cakewalk, man, especially in the big boy football. And if you get the injury bug, oh Lord, it's gonna be ugly for you. It's gonna be trouble for you, man. But Steve Sarkisian, he do have to step it up because I'm pretty sure they want to do more than just spend money at Texas.
That's a fact. And that's a fact. And he's been there for a while now. I don't think that there's too much. I think you still look. Who do you get out there, right? And I think, and to answer that question, right? UCLA went out to go get Bob Chesney started from FCS with Holy Cross. Then he went to James Madison, and then he's at UCLA right now, right? So I think what you do is you look at a proven winning low-level coach, a guy who's been proven to develop his talent, to maximize his talent, and to win with said talent, right? So I do think that there's coaches out there in America. Coaching pool is huge, right? We just don't see all the great coaches. There may be a coach that's hiding somewhere in JUCO that could get to Texas that could win. What's that, D?
Say if a James Franklin go out there and have a turnaround season with Virginia Tech.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised Texas throw a bag at him. But at the same time, though, man, you know, Penn State was mad at James Franklin because he couldn't win the big games. And you're going to have a lot of big games in the SEC, baby. So that all depends, you feel me?
See, they being greedy. They was being greedy. And I don't knock you. Penn State was being greedy with him.
Yes.
Penn State was being very greedy with him. He had Penn State a relevant 9, 10, solid 10 win a year team, right?
He was gonna get him 10, at least 10.
Right. And last year they had a bad luck season. It happens. Every great coach has a bad season.
They let him go in the middle of the year. They let him go early.
Yes. They let him go. After they went on that little streak they had, I mean, and that losing streak. So it's like every coach has that, right? Every coach has that. And to answer y'all, and the people out there, I thought I was crazy and said a JUCO coach can go to Texas. No, that's not crazy. They are used to winning with lower talent, with maximizing their guys and developing guys. They are used to getting guys that are no more desirable, turning those guys around, babysitting those guys, taking those guys to classes, making sure those guys go to class. Because remember, when you get down to that JUCO level as a coach, you got to make sure those are players who messed up at the top level or players who just wasn't good enough to get to that top level, right? So if you're getting a D1 recruit at the JUCO level, 9 times out of 10, he done did something wrong to get kicked out of school or something, missing class, not going to class, got an attitude. So in order to maximize that and take that, like JUCO coaches work very hard, very, very hard, and they're very underrated. You know what I'm saying? Like coaching is coaching, bro. Especially once you get to that collegiate level. Let's not get that twisted, y'all. So yes, I do think that there's a coach, and I didn't say just any JUCO coach. I said a proven guy who can prove himself. You know what I mean? That's proven himself to work and progress and develop his talent. I do think that they can go to Texas with that roster full of all those animals and win. Because we're seeing it happen.
The only problem I would see with that, though, is, you feel me, like, with a program like Texas, you got to give your boosters a reason to spend money. And I don't know if they're going to be, you feel me, quick to keep, putting money into the program if you bringing in the guy from JUCO. Because then, like, say if they did bring in a JUCO guy and he do what he was supposed to do and get the team, on a run and whatnot, and hey, they struck gold. But if you go out there and you losing games, they're going to blame it all on the AD and the administration. They're going to be like, oh, we're not going to give y'all our money no more because y'all brought in the JUCO coach. So it's kind of a risk versus reward kind of scenario with that. So you never really know with the whole, you feel me, with the JUCO thing. But you're not lying, though, so you got a point, though.
Yeah, I feel you, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel where you're coming from. Like, and I think that's the risk that you want, that sometimes You got to take risks in order to do that because there ain't nobody out there. Like you said, everybody's comfortable in their jobs. And if it's not working, you got to go in a different direction. And sometimes bringing in that new blood. And those is the hustlers of hustlers, baby. A lot of them JUCO coaches know how to hustle. They get it out the mud, dog. They getting it out the mud. They know how to hustle. They know how to go out there and slap some stickers on a T-shirt and sell them at game day for merch. You hear me? They know how to hustle. You feel me? They ain't even got no hot dog vendor. They be making the hot dogs in the kitchen. They got their wives cooking the hot dogs, bringing them to the games and selling them. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Man. Like, so them JUCO coaches know how to hustle. That's one thing they know how to do. And they know how to, you know what I'm saying, you know, get the guys galvanized and treat the troops differently, right? And get those guys whipped into shape because you ain't got time to be babysitting no Division I athlete that is getting paid $1 million now. You are coming here to work. Y'all are professional football players now. The amount of money that Texas has spent on that football team, there is absolutely no excuse. And the same thing goes for LSU and Lane Kiffin and those guys. Yeah. The amount of money they spending, same thing goes for them. But if it's, I mean, that's just a chance that I'll have to explain that as an AD to answer your question. If I'm the AD at Texas, I have to take that. You know what I'm saying? I have to say, you know, if you the donors or whatever, and I'm the AD, right? So let's play. You be the donors, and I'll be the AD of Texas, and I brought in the JUCO coach. All right, go.
Okay. So what is this guy going to bring to the table that you decide to spend our hard-earned money on a JUCO coach?
Well, this guy has proven himself on multiple levels. This guy has gotten up every single day, and he has taken 10 players that were supposed to be Division I players to class every single day, multiple classes, not just English, math, studies, and they always been at practice on time with these guys. 3 of those guys are now in the NFL, and a couple of other of those guys have graduated with high honors. That's why I took your money and spent it that way.
Well, coach, first game of the year, he better get something done, because if he don't get nothing done, these Texas folks in Austin, Texas, we're going to have some problems. Well, he might be beefsteak on the grill if he don't get those W's. I ain't seen him playing no SEC or no coach against no SEC coaches, so we got to see. But, coach, I tell you what, if he go out there and get the job done, we're going to ride with him. We're going to ride with him, AD. We're going to ride with him. But if not, he's going to be on the grill.
Wow. Wow. If
that's what on my Texas boys.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But I feel you on that. And that's somehow similar it's going to be. But we're spending the money to get players, right? We got now what we have to bring in is good coaching. Now, Sark, it just seemed like Sark was a great coach. He's a great coach. Sark was great here with the guys. It just seemed like his voice got stale in the locker room. We needed a guy who was going to come in and motivate these guys to play at the potential that we're paying these guys to be at. And if he can't get the job done, then damn it, we're going to keep pushing until we find one that could come to this University of Texas and get the job done. That's how that's handled. I mean, I don't know, but hey, round of applause though for DP. We killed that. We killed that, brother. Go ahead and bow, bro. We killed that one. We killed that. He said, there ain't no paying child support and finding out the 18th birthday. She tells you on her PMS day the damn kid wasn't yours. Anyways, hook them horns. Oh man, but yeah, they ain't got no excuses, man. That was a good one, though. That was a good one. All right, that was a good one. And moving on to the next. Malachi Tony. This is a topic. No. We ain't going to Malachi Tony just yet. No, we could go ahead. We go to Malachi Tony, and then we'll go to the next one. So the people out there are doubting my guy. Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Colorado fan, you know, but hey, I like Miami. Don't say it. I like Miami too. Can Malachi Malachi Tony reach another level of production this football season? There is some doubters out there that's saying, hold up, college football know what Malachi Tony like to do. They're going to shut that down. His production ain't going to be as high. What you got to say to them people, D?
Boy, we are loaded. You can't even focus on Malachi Tony. Malachi Tony don't put on some extra weight to take more hits. They're gonna use them a lot. They're gonna utilize them a lot more than they did last season, man. And then you can't only worry about Malachi Tony. You got to worry about the backfield. You got to worry about Mensa. You got to worry about his buddy Cooper Barquette. You even got to worry about some of the guys that you might not even heard about, like a Cam Vaughn, a Joshua Moore, a Dalen Upshaw. And the way the tight end room been looking, we got a freshman. They've been talking about he looking like Jeremy Shockey. So woo, you feel me? So you better get locked and loaded, man. O-line, 6'8", 330 across the board. I get excited. I talk about them Canes. So Malachi, he got a lot to keep attention off of him nonetheless, but Malachi, he gonna get his regardless. So y'all better get your popcorn ready. It's gonna be on and popping.
Oh, there you go. Now, I was told from a little birdie, right? She said, Truckin. My homegirl Katie Allman said, Truckin. I said, what's up, Katie? She said, now you know, because she's from the South, so she got that Southern Belle accent. She say, now you know, you need to look at Miami depth chart, and you really need to look and see what they got over there. I'm telling you, that Cooper Barquette guy that came over from Duke is going to be a problem. They're so worried about Malachi Tony, Cooper Barat. So I looked into it, I said, ooh.
Oh, yeah, Cooper Barquette.
Hold up.
And Chubb, he probably gonna be better, man. He's probably gonna be better than he was at Duke because the competition you got to go against every day in practice is phenomenal, man. Right now, if you've been hearing any other news from camp, Miami defensive back room, the secondary, man, looking like some of the best they have seen in years, man. Wow. Everybody in there 6'1 plus, 200 pounds, cornerback, safeties. We loaded in the secondary right now, man.
I mean, I like. How is JJ Duncan looking? How he looking?
Listen, JJ Duncan is definitely gonna get some playing time. But we are so deep. You got OJ Frederick. He don't put on 200 pounds. He's 6'1", 200. You got Xavier Lucas. He's 6'1", 200. You got Ethan O'Connor. He's 6'1", 200. You got Damari Brown. He's 6'2", 200.
What about
Mark Thornton?
Zachariah Poison.
Zachariah Poison. He's another one. Elite. And then you got my boy Bryce Fitzgerald. He almost 200 pounds. Woo! So the secondary is lovely right now, man. It's gonna be on and popping. And I'm pretty sure JJ Dunnigan, they raving about him also. He doing big thing in practice. That young man, you can put him just about anywhere in that secondary. Nickel, strong safety, free safety. He making plays out there in practice also. It's gonna be real interesting with the Miami Hurricanes this upcoming season. And what I also gotta say this, Chubb. A lot of people worry about, Bain gone, Mesidor gone. Well, I got two names for you. Well, really three names for you. Marquise Lightfoot. He's up to 240 pounds right now. He was dominating last year.
Why they forgetting about Amar Moten?
I was gonna get there. You feel me? I want to get on the edge because Amar Moten, we got Amar Moten and Justin Scott up in that middle. And we got another guy from Nebraska, Keanu Davis, 6'5", 280, looking real promising.
Damon Wilson, he on the edge, ain't he?
Listen, Damon Wilson, they got to take him out to run the offense sometimes. So it's gonna be on and popping, Chubb. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, Miami, we gravy, man. That's why I don't want to be a paper champion, man. I'm ready for the season to get started, baby. Because listen, them Canes, woo.
So you heard it here first. You heard it. You heard my guy. Malachi Tony is definitely not taking a step back with the receivers that they got over there at Miami. So stop that nonsense. And I gotta play this for him too. I got a new voice thing. I ain't used it in a while, but I just tell him like this.
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. And then stop having all that emotional damage or whatever it's called, right? That one.
Emotional damage.
I be saying that to people sometimes. That's funny. I didn't know you had that.
He said, sound like Dion's kids don't go to class and need babysitter. Oh, here you go.
How you feeling about that, Chubb?
Here you go.
Talk to me, man. You
Here
know,
you go.
I've been seeing a few videos about Colorado, man, but I don't want to give you too much. I just want the season started.
Okay,
so how you been feeling about it? I know you seen them clips. They talking about the boys' size and stuff. How you feeling about that, Chubb? Let me know.
The boys' sizes, right? We ain't got to get all up into that because my boys' sizes is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where they're getting size out when we talking about Colorado. Like, I mean, when you're looking at Colorado and you're talking about size, where are you talking about the size at? Right?
Yeah, because they seen a clip, and I ain't want to take too much off of one clip. I don't know if it was first string, second string, or what. So that's why I ain't really make a comment on it because I don't know.
Nah, like it got it. Like the clip ain't nothing but the skilled guys, man.
Yeah.
Them ain't nothing but the little DBs and the skilled guys, man. Because when you're talking about the offense and defensive line, the Colorado guys, you know what I'm saying? You talking about some guys who got some weight to them that's big. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about no little dudes. So I don't know where they getting that from, D. Because I'd rather now we could talk about now. Do we got some undersized guys on the defensive line? Sure, right? But that's the Big 12. That's all the Big 12. But we ain't talking about, you know what I mean, Demito Pico Jr., he's 6'4", 235. He had DN. Now, I guess you could say that's a little under. Kalen Salter, he a DN / linebacker edge, 6'2", 230. Quincy Wiggins, 6'5", 255. Emmanuel Izabu, you know what I'm saying? What we talking about? 6'2", 240. You talking about Toby Ane? He's 6'4", came from 6'4", 260, came from North Dakota State. You talking about Sam Gaddy, 6'3", 235 defensive line. We talking about Big Sam Tapapini coming over from Baylor. That one 6'3", 375 on the defensive line. We talking about Tyler Moore. I don't know who they talking about when they talking about size. The small guys. 6'3", 260 guys with Villy. He on the defensive line. He proven. Talking about Balasama Kamara, the guy that we pulled up from Albany, the Greyhounds, 6'3", 260. What are we talking about size? I don't know. You want to talk about the offensive line too? Y'all want me to go? But you want me to go to the offensive line on them too, DP? Want me to talk about that too, D?
Dude, I ain't really take too much on it because it was just a little clip. So you feel? I can't get too much from a little clip. You feel? Chauncey
Gooden, he all on the offensive line. He's 6'3", 380 pounds. Andre Roy, he's 6'6", 295. Stat. Larry Johnson, experience. He had right tackle, 6'7", 350 pounds. Taj White, 6'5", 310 pounds. We talking about Bo Hewley, got him from Georgia, 6'7", 295, all muscle. You feel me? Phillip Houston, he a backup offensive lineman, 6'5", 280. Leon Bell, 6'8", 330 pounds. Demetrius Hunter, probably our starting center, 6'2", 310 pounds, big dude. At 310, 315, somewhere in there like that. Waya Ada, see, like 6'4", 340 pounds, guard. You know what I'm saying? Sean Kinney, 6'2", 305. Like, where the size? What you talking about size? Like, huh? Jeez.
Yeah, well, I say we're going to see, man. That's why I say I ain't want to take too much into it because it was just a clip, you feel me? Because who knows? Maybe it could have been the second string, third string out there.
Now, hold up now. It was said, so I had to get that. He said Sark needs to get himself an offensive line. He said the Patriots won the Super Bowl with 5'10" wide receivers since it's Dion's they will hate. I know that's right, dog. I know that's right. Yeah.
Man, that was Tom Brady. Man,
yeah. They talking about Cam Perry. They talking about guys like Cam Perry and yeah, I dig that. I mean, but that's low hanging fruit though. Cam Perry 5'9", but that dude running 4.3s though. We talking about dudes out the gate. We talking about Quentin Gibson, Cam Perry. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Mathis, those all 5'9" guys, and Ernest Campbell. And I was Caleb Mathis, the slowest out of them all, and he in the 4.4 range. So what we talking about? All the rest of them running true 4.3s, 4.39s. They out the gate blazing. So if you under 5'10", you know what I'm saying? You know if you're under 5'10" and you're on Dion's roster, baby, you're going to be running 4.3, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Now, but that's just, you know, hey, I just wanted to introduce y'all a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You got me. He said, you know, them college pad, them depth chart measurables. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's why
What
I
he
say,
say?
we gonna see what the season look like. You already know how I feel about
I
Colorado.
feel him. He rage baiting me though. He rage baiting me
Yeah,
because
that's why I say I don't
we
want to
just
give you
did the
too
same.
much.
We just did the same thing with Miami.
Yeah.
We just did the same thing with Miami. We just did the same thing with everybody. That's all we can do is just wait and see for everybody, right?
I say we gotta wait and see.
You know what I mean? He said Malachi Tony about to what? Malachi Tony is about to turn into Tony Montana on your ass like in 2026. Did I said it right, dog? Did I said it right? Y'all know that link in the chat, you heard me? You know that link in the chat, you heard me? You know what I'm saying? The link in the chat, that just in case y'all wanted to come up and rock with us for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But if not, you know what I'm saying, we keep it moving on the next topic though. But I had to break it down. He had to rep for Miami. I had to rep for Colorado real quick, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what they talking about the size, but hey, that's just something that really to answer your question, you know what I'm saying? On a real point though, D, I think that's just something else that adds for bulletin board material that the Buffs need to take another one of those headlines, posted on their locker or posted in our locker room, and look at it as motivation throughout the year and say they said we was too small. They said we ain't had no chemistry. They said that we was this. They said that we was that. Now we got to put it all out there on the field and on the mat and tell them and put them on their back and tell them where it's at, because we is them cats knock you out the park with no baseball bat and all that. Yeah, because I got the raps. Ooh.
Wow.
Bars. Like, no.
Wow.
I'm having fun, D. I'm having fun.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it.
All right. So,
I ain't mad at it.
all right. Now, you got Drew Messemaker. And somebody, I know somebody talking about shut it up. You know what I'm saying? Shut it up. He said, no, man. That's it. That's what he want to hear me say, man. Miami looking bigger with the eye test and pause, man. That's what he want to hear me say.
I ain't lie, we huge, so
Duncanville and Desto look bigger than Colorado, man. Yeah, I feel you.
I ain't even see that comment. Carlito, wow, man.
Yeah, I like man. Carlito, man. Hey, Carlito. Hey, look, Carlito come in. He come in whether nobody.
Say Duncanville in DeSoto.
He gonna keep me on my toes, and he gonna rage me the whole show. He's so funny. I appreciate you, Carlito, man. Shout out to you, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Shout out Carlito, bro, for real.
Man.
Shout out Carlito, man. He funny, bro. Now Oklahoma State, right? They didn't do good last year. The team didn't do good last year. However, that is not the same team, DP.
Not at all.
Now, people asking, can Drew Messemaker and Eric Morris turn around Oklahoma State? This is one of them storylines I think that people like sleep on out there, because you're talking about a program that was struggling last year, and everybody nowadays like the microwave era, right? They like to pop it in a microwave, they put it on 2 minutes, like it to be done, right? And instead of waiting until things is really good, you know what I'm saying? And I think what they got to do is, from a real football standpoint, and being, you know what I'm saying, a Big 12 guy, you know what I'm saying, I got to come in there and I got to say, first, you got to establish your identity. I think they already developed their quarterback. I think they got Drew Messemaker where he need to be, but he still got a high upside. Drew Messemaker is not done being developed. Yes, Caleb Hawkins, he ain't done neither. Caleb Hawkins ain't done neither. So if they could eliminate the mistakes that they had at North Texas, start off building off of that, and Messemaker don't gotta be Superman. If they can keep establishing the same run identity as they had as that North Texas team, and they can operate, protect the football, consistently get his throws off, I think Oklahoma State, and I'm being real with that, because they got competent quarterback play. They got that in Messemaker. They got good running back play. But if Messemaker has to be Superman for this team to win, it's not going to happen. If they can consistently run the ball the way that they were at North Texas, this team will win 8 games. That's me. What do you think Oklahoma's, just from what the things that you know, D? I ain't asking you to go all deep on the chart, but the things you know from Oklahoma State, bringing that North Texas team, what do you think that they need to do to win the Big 12?
Ooh. Now, win the Big 12 is kind of a stretch. but I am, I'm confident they have a completely better season they had last year. But winning the Big 12, I would definitely have to see how that Houston game look, because Houston, I feel like they finna come out and improve some teams, show some teams what's up when they play Houston. But once the Houston and Texas Tech game, to me, will really be the biggest key games to let me know what they're gonna do if they really have a chance to win the Big 12. Because like I say, they basically Oklahoma State, North Texas. If we being real, North Texas was good, but that was in what the G5 conference.
Yeah, the
now
American Athletic, right?
Now y'all took it up another level. You feel me?
Right.
So, Messermaker, I'm confident in him. I'm confident in the running back. Now, like you say, you know what I like to go to? It's gonna come down to them trenches, baby. How y'all look on the defensive side of the ball? Can y'all rush the passer? Can y'all get some tackles in the backfield, some TFLs? And can y'all protect Messermaker in the Big 12? You feel me? And the Texas Tech game, I got a lot more confidence in them because I don't have confidence in the Texas Tech quarterback, because they ain't have confidence in their quarterback. They would have had confidence in the quarterback they got now. They wouldn't have been trying to ease Brandon Sorsby back up in there. So their schedule not super tough, but it is some competitive games on the schedule. But that Houston game, because the Oregon game, I feel like the Oregon game is going to be a test. Can they come out of that game healthy, and can they compete in that game?
Okay,
they compete
I like that.
against Oregon, then that'll let us know a lot.
Right. I think, look, a great take, D. Great take, D. So for me, what I think they got to do is, I already said what they need to do. They got to establish their identity within this Big 12. That's what they got to do. They got to come out and establish their identity. And that means that pretty much replicating, because you don't want to leave the game in Messermaker's hands, right? And I think you got to be careful with that Oregon team, that Oregon game too, week 2, right? I think you got to be careful there. Now, the reason why I say that, right, D, is because we know how good Oregon is, right? And we know how good Oregon is compared to Oklahoma State, right? And a G5 team. So, Oregon can run up the score, but it also can expose some things. So, in that game, if you're down, 4 touchdowns in the second quarter, do you just go ahead and be like, all right, I'm pulling Messermaker? Or do you finish the game tough? Like you said, you got to come out the game healthy, right? You got to come out that game healthy. Now, I ain't saying they're going to do that, but I'm just saying I don't know what they might do. You know what I mean? I'm just, rambling stuff off just for the sake of conversation out there, people. But, you got to be careful with that Oregon game, because you don't want to expose too much of what you got going on, because not just 2 weeks later, you got your first Big 12 test going on the road versus West Virginia. And they coming out swinging. They coming out hard this year, I'm guessing. I'm hearing a lot about that team, and they ain't no pushover, right? They ain't gonna be no pushover for them. I think that is officially, obviously, it's easy to say the first real test, but it's the conference game opener versus them. But do I think that they can beat the Houston Cougars? I think they could beat them. I think they could beat Houston. I think anything can happen in college football, but I think they can get them. That if that offense can consistently run the ball the way they were at North Texas, this team can absolutely win the Big 12. And I'm a Colorado fan. I'm saying now, I'm keeping it a buck, bro. If they can run the ball the same way that they was able to do in American Athletic on a consistent basis, this team is tough to deal with. Messermaker is a problem when he has that strong run game behind him. If that run game's not there and you're dependent on Messermaker to be Superman out there, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not. And I do think that the Buffs is going to give them problems. That's the 7th game into the season, week 8. That's a week 8 game. Both teams to be well within their stride. And yeah, they better come to play. And out looking at the defensive line, if the Buffs can stay healthy, I think the Buffs could get them. But we're not talking about that. I'm being realistic, and I'm being a football fan.
They
I'm being
definitely
a
better be
football
ready
fan.
to start Caleb Hawkins.
I'm being a football. Like they gotta be able to run the ball though. D. They had Oklahoma State has to be able to consistently run the ball. If they're putting the game purely in Maker's hands, and I'm high on Maker, and I'm a football fan too. So I'm speaking from the Big 12, and I already said that they could win it if they could run the ball consistently. But putting the game in Maker's hands and leading him out there and making it easy for a lot of these defenses that they're gonna play and face. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's not, especially after, after their bye week when they just go straight through the conference play. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to run the ball against these defenses. Now, a lot of people say that the Big 12 don't play defense. Well, I want y'all to pay attention this year and watch how much good defense that the Big 12 actually do play this year. I want y'all to pay attention to that. I do. Because I think that narrative is going to be killed. We're going to see some good football games in the Big 12. But to answer my question, and my question was, if they can consistently run the ball the way that they did last year as the North Texans mean green, could they win the Big 12? I think they can. DP says otherwise.
Yeah, it's on that them winning the Big 10. I mean, Big 12. With them winning the Big 12, I feel like it's a stretch. But I do see them winning 8 to 9 games, though. I can see that. It
Facts.
just, if anybody win the Big 12 right now, man, I'm real high on Houston, dog. Houston, they won 10 games last year. They bringing back a lot, and they did pretty well, you feel me, as far as getting more players in there. So, but we will see. We'll see. Because I was, in the beginning of the year, I was high on Texas Tech, but the whole Sorsby thing got me off of them.
Now, and artistically, I like it. I like that comment. All right. And now I like what y'all talking about. I seen it. You know what I'm saying? They should be the Oklahoma State mean green, right? And I see what you're saying, see how they doing in the Big 12 because they basically a G5 team. I dig that. I see that, right? And that's my thing, right? But it is the Big 12, and this conference was built off of pulling the G5 teams up, right, and putting them in there. A lot of these teams were G5, Cincinnati, Houston. Who else? Help me out here, y'all. There was some more that's in there too. UCF was also G5. Who else was? I think that Houston, was West Virginia one?
No, West Virginia been T4 for a while now.
Okay. All right, but yeah, so I think they pulled largely from there, and they have been never, and the other teams have not ever been dominant in the Big 12 or however you want to put that, but they were a high-powered G5 team. They really were. Their offense was very high-powered, and they put up a lot of points, and if they can that's why I said if they can replicate what they did, like they can score. They can score, and he can play quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Colorado players use urinals because their size is too little. What? Pause. That's crazy. That's what she said. He said back in the day, TCU was. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, TCU. Okay.
A long time ago, though.
Okay, that had to have been a while back.
They don't been in the P4 for a while now. They don't made it to a natty since then. Now, it was ugly. They made it.
I talked about Indiana going back to back already, but I don't really think about that. So, all right, Bynum Brown going to the SEC. Bynum Brown, right? They hyping him up in Auburn so much. I mean, they talking about how good Bynum Brown's going to be, how good he was, how fast he is, how athletic he is, how big of an arm he has. Now, but my thing is, SEC defenses are going to test everything that he got. Can he process with the speed, with the game speed, his accuracy, his pocket awareness, his decision-making under the pressure that's going to be on, and his ability to just really get back up after taking all those hits and staying healthy in the SEC. It's a different game now, right, for Bynum Brown. So it ain't just about going out there playing the game and lose or win, right? It's not about that no more. If Brown can level up against the competition and out here he could be big, but he got to prove it on the field first. And I don't know if Bynum Brown is going to be able to rip through the SEC. But everybody else thinks so. What do you think about that?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm got confidence in Alex Golish, the head coach, man. They run that that fast tempo offense, man, and it gave a few teams some problems that they played. They played Alabama when he was at USF, took Alabama to the wire a little bit, beat up Florida. You feel me? Now they played Miami. We had to smack them boys, but at the same time, that offense, if you don't get them off the field on third down, they're going to line it up real quick on you and make some plays. And not only Byron Brown, they got running backs there that can make some plays. They got Jeremiah Cobb. Last year, he just ran for 969 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5.5 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Davenport also. He's another running back that did pretty good for them. He had 612 yards and 7 touchdowns, 6.2 yards a carry, man. So they got something to make something shake, man. So I wouldn't necessarily just sleep on Auburn, but I will say with Byron Brown, he has to become a better passer. He just can't depend on his legs. Like you said in the SEC, he's going to get beat up out there. But Alex Golish, man, he's a good head coach, man. I can't take nothing from him. Now, the way he run his offense, though, it might put a lot of pressure on that defense. But at the same time, man, look at here. If you don't get them off the field this year, you're going to have a tough time with Auburn this upcoming season.
All right. D. So now we know that, I mean, the SEC is going to be tough. And I talked about it, his processing and all that. But I think your take was good enough. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to, touch on that too much. But because I think what I got to say next about the Senate, because we've been talking about this. The Senate is pushing college sports. They pushed the vote to September. I don't know if you heard about that, but the vote has been pushed back till September, dog. This college sport, the landscape of college sports with this NIL, this revenue sharing, the athletes' rights, and the federal government coming in right now overseeing everything. And the thing is, they just want stability. But what's happening is, I don't know if Congress could come in and create rules that's going to help stabilize college sports right now without causing more problems, dog. Like, how do you feel about all that stuff that's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I can give it a quick, jog. I can give it a quick memory read if you would like me to tap you in on it before you answer that question. Okay. All right. So basically they're talking about, the NCAA begged Congress to fix its problems. Now it's paying the price as Washington politics are taking over. All right. Writer Dan Wolken, senior writer at Yahoo. Got to give credit to him, right? The week began with the legitimate hope that the Protect College Sports Act would be on a glide path towards becoming law, with a supermajority of the support in the U.S. Senate and the momentum to land on President Donald Trump's desk. It ended in a place college sports had found itself time and time again over the last 7 years in its dealings with Congress, mirrored in nuts and bolts of American politics. As Yahoo Sports colleague Ross Dellinger reported deep into Friday night, Saturday morning, the bill is now legislative purgatory as the Senate heads into August recess instead of being jammed through without a lot of scrutiny, which seems to be what co-authors Tad Cruz and Maria Cantwell intended. The PCSA is now riddled with amendments and objections, and various outside groups exploring senators not to pass it. Progress has been halted. There are major questions about whether it can pass in any form, and the legislative work resumes in September. With the midterm elections looming, there's no guarantee the Senate will even have the bandwidth to make it a priority, because the bill is not dead yet and could potentially get a vote when the Senate returns from recess. It might be a tad early for the I told you so's, but those of us who predicted the congressional gambit would be dead end for college sports are now staring to stretch and warm up for our victory lap. Not because there's joy in college sports continuing to operate without enforceable rules, but because this is foreseeable when the NCAA first started lobbying Congress 7 years ago in December of 2029, right? So, and he says that, so and just to break this down just a little bit more to get to the nitty gritty of it, right? They forced the NCAA to legalize NIL. They're saying, now who said this? It's complicated, but they also know there's a sense of urgency. Emmer said they're keenly interested in trying to save college sports be successful. There's a keen interest in trying to make us modernize the rules and create a framework within which this all continues to work in that direction. I think there's a lot of good intention and goodwill there. But I mean, some of the rules that we just been through, I mean, you got I think they're passing like the 5 for 5 and all of that. The Protect College Sports Act, the whole thing, the vote for the Protect College Sports Act, all that in there. I think there's a lot in there that has to do with the NIL, the coach rule, where they calling that the Lane Kiffin rule. A lot that's going down with I don't think transfer has to do with it, but the NIL and how you're getting it NIL. There's no more third parties with that. They're attaching that to the players. Revenue sharing, I think, is coming in, and they're putting it off till November. So pretty much, I mean, what I read was just nothing but filler. But you know what I mean, but just with the Protect College Sports Act and what we've discussed for the past weeks and the laws that we know about, do you think that they'll hurt college football, or do you think they will create more problems for college football as time goes on?
I do think it needs to get to a point where we have some kind of, stabilized ground rules, like some rules of this to go off of to some point. But I really think the main thing is the Big Ten and the SEC, they want to get that power back. And the way that this law is going, it's not going to give them the power they thought they was going to get. And now they trying to backpedal somewhat. And some schools, we don't necessarily want them to control how much money that we can give a particular player, said player, but it do need to be some kind of cap. But if you're a school like a Miami or Ohio State or Texas and you got a lot of money you want to give to a particular player, you don't want somebody telling you what you can and can't do. But it will also even out the playing field too. But as far as the SEC and the Big Ten, I think they just want all the control. They want to do what they want to do, and they don't want nobody to tell them what they can and cannot do. So I feel like they're the ones really, trying to make sure this thing don't get pushed, and they trying to, hold off as long as possible. Because also, I think it's something in there to where, you feel me, you can't add a certain amount of teams. You can only have about 19 teams.
There you go. Yep. They want to stop conference realignment too. Yep. We read about that in the past. Yep.
So really, no, I don't really like politics and football or whatnot, but at the same time, it do need to be some kind of control over this college football landscape, man. It's getting haywire.
I feel you. And I'm conflicted with it too, D, because there's a lot of rules in there where I think the players should have freedom of how much money they're getting, playing their name, image, and likeness. There shouldn't be no cap on that, the endorsement, the deals, and whatever else they can make while they're in college, right? Because some players might be a great college player, but they might not want to play NFL football. They might, want to do something else. And some players might not make it to the NFL, right? They just don't have the talent, but they be a great college player. So maximize your dollars while you're in college, and putting a cap on that for the players is just crazy. The conference realignment thing is the biggest thing, I think, and I think this is why it's getting postponed and pushed back, because you got the Big Ten and the SEC. They're still shooting for some teams out there. I don't have the insight or the connections to know who those teams are, but I can take a guess based off of what brands are popping and where the money is flowing right now in college football. I mean, if we follow the money, we find out everything, right? I mean, that's just a simple thing to say.
I like that comment that Artistically Incredible said, man. I like that comment that he said.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah, that right there. I like that.
The NFL is tough. NIL is tough,
NIL.
especially NIL is tough, especially paying recruits lots of money for them to ride the bench their first year or two. I like
Yeah,
that.
I do feel like I need to be a cap on what incoming freshmen can make, man, because a freshman quarterback coming in making millions of dollars, and then you got guys that's already on your roster that ain't making nowhere close to that, and this guy ain't sniffed the field yet, man. So yeah, it should be definitely a limit on freshmen, man. You should have a certain amount that you only able to make until you actually be able to make some plays or put up some production out there, and then we can talk some money.
Right. But all right, now remember earlier when I was talking about the JUCO coach, right?
Yeah.
Could you say the same thing for a coach coming from JUCO or not even from JUCO, from the G5 going up into a power conference? Could you say the same thing for them? I don't know about paying you a regular coach's salary, even though now look, because this player that's been rated a 4 or 5 star athlete earned that through the 4 years while they were in high school playing, going to national championships, state championships, all the yards or tackles, interceptions, etc. What they did to be ranked in the ESPN top 300 in the whole entire country out of all the high schools. And for this coach that went at this level and did everything at this level, should they be able to go and get the minimum of just to say, okay, for instance, Bob Chesney's perfect example, right? Because we don't know what he's going to do at UCLA, but he's been proven to win at Holy Cross. He's been proven to win at James Madison, but now he's going into the Big Ten from James Madison. Should we give him the league minimum for coach's salary just because?
I feel like that's a little different because he slowly progressed up as far as a kid coming from high school to college. That's no different from a rookie going to the NFL. We don't care what you did. If an NFL player don't care what a rookie did in college, and a college kid don't care what a high school did in high school. You know, you with the big dogs, you feel me? But as far as my boy Chesney, man, he did something at Holy Cross. Then he went to James Madison. That's a step up. And then James Madison, they was productive. Nah, you in another step up going to UCLA, and ain't like UCLA was just been kicking butt lately. They need some help too, so they taking a chance on Chesney just as much. Chesney taking a chance going to them.
Right.
I can see if it's just a JUCO coach and you got hired to Alabama, and I like whoa.
Okay, so I mean, and look, I'm doing this for conversation's sake and giving a pushback because there may be people that got some of these questions like this, right? And may be thinking the way that I'm thinking right now, right? So let's say there's a guy, a football player who starts off local at Carroll City High School. I don't know. I'm trying to relate it to where you at. And then he goes to IMG and does the same thing. But then he goes to Bishop Gorman and does the same thing. And then he goes to Modern Day and does the same thing. And then he's ranked a 5-star. He's did it at levels, and he's progressed every year and been able to do the same thing. So now going into college, you know what I'm saying? I know it's a different level at college, but he's putting that work. He's been proven to put in that work and proven to progress that player has, right? So as long as that player, or you know what I'm saying, is to go in the right system, he'll be developed and he'll continue to produce, right? And like, I guess with a coach, he got to have the players, but the player got to have the right development and everything. But they've been proving themselves, and that's all I'm saying. Just to push back and to add to this conversation, because as some people may say that's different, like you say that's different. There's a player out there that's saying it's not different because the coach got to stay up all night writing plays. I gotta make sure that I'm getting rest at night, but not only that, I gotta go to workout before school, after school. In the summertime, I don't get to go party with my friends if I want to be an elite 4 or 5-star football player. I gotta work out and I gotta take trips Now, you know what I'm saying? Texas want to see me. Now, Ole Miss want to see me. Miami want to see me. Ohio State want to see me. Cal want to see me. You know what I'm saying? I'm traveling while I'm working out, while I'm maintaining my grades, and I'm still putting on the work on the football field. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, the title is different, but the grind's not. So to say that a player doesn't deserve the money, doesn't deserve that money in his first year in college, but a coach who has not proven himself at the level does, it may be different to y'all, but to the player, it's not.
Yeah, as far as the coach though, like that's why I'm saying the Chesney. I don't think that's a good example.
I mean,
JUCO to ain't too many big programs gonna take a chance on the JUCO coach. They're gonna have to go to G5 first or a D3 first. And as far as high school, man, you're not seeing a 23-year-old senior linebacker or a 23-year-old defensive end out there in high school. You're gonna see a couple of guys that's gonna be working at either McDonald's or going to get just a straight scholarship, a non-athletic scholarship. You feel me? So the competition ain't always gonna be the same,
right? And look, and I feel you on that, D. But like, from a player's perspective, though, they're grinding too, though, dog, to get that ranking, to earn that ranking, to even get the eyes of these coaches and everything. Now, you're a guy who believes in getting the Jimmys and the Joes to your team. To even get on Crystal Ball's radar at Miami, I gotta put in a certain amount of work.
Yeah, but once you be that dude in high school, you really got the ball in your court because you're gonna have everybody calling you. So now it automatically teams gonna be like, well, I'm gonna pay you this, so I'm gonna pay you that. You feel me? Because they already having a bidding war for you as is. So that's what your work coming from right there. All the work you put in, now you got all these coaches calling you, basically going through a bidding war to try to get you to their program. And it's up to you what your personality is, whether you want these schools to keep, up in the number, or you like, I'm finna just pick the school I like and I want to play for that school. Forget the number. I don't really care about the number. I want to play for them. Right. Whatever you're going to give me, we can work out up in that thing later once I get there if you make something shake. Because mind you, Malachi Tony wasn't getting paid what Malachi Tony getting paid now. You feel me? Malachi Tony first got in there, he probably getting, he getting paid a nice little money. But what he got now, my dog on private jets right now and on NCAA 2027. You feel me?
He getting that bread now. He earned it. And he earned it. You're right. I now, so all I'm saying is to make should there be something in the language, right? Even if you ain't proved yourself as a coach, like Brent Pry did phenomenal as a defensive coordinator at Penn State. He went to Virginia and flopped. You know what I mean? They paid him money and he flopped. And it happens sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. So could there be something that says, all right, I'll give you $2 million to take the job, to signing bonus $2 million, right? Now, here's the incentives, right? You gotta have this X amount of wins to receive this much. And if you can maintain getting these much amount, and I'm sure that's what their contracts kind of look like, but to come out and just give them that money, should a coach have to earn the money too? Or you could say the coach earned it. And then I could also be a player and say that the player earned it too because the extensive amount of work that they went through. So for me, there is the difference between coach and a player. I'm not saying that there's not, but the grind is the grind. To even get on y'all radar as a coach, I gotta be worked out. I gotta be fit. I have to be at a certain level. And even to get on an AD's radar, a coach has to develop, produce, and win games. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. And so it's that slippery slope. Like you putting all this in for these players, but we letting these coaches and they did put some language in there that's stopping coaches leaving, like the Lane Kiffin rule, right? They did do that, but however, there ain't no messing around with the amount of dollars that the coaches are getting. And now, to be fair, I don't even know if there's a way to be fair to say maybe we can give you a freshman minimum, right? And if you hit these benchmarks, then I'll give you X, Y, and Z, right? That I think that should have been doing. I mean, if I'm an AD, that's what I'm trying to do with them. I don't want to just come out and give you a meal off top. You ain't did nothing to get that meal. I got a million, then I'll have $1 million sitting on the bench. I'll give you 300 thou wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you this 300 thou wow real quick. And if you could come out and you could produce and show me that you that, then I'll throw that extra million on the back end. Now, but you know, it's that kind of conversation, and I'm glad we have it because I'm sure that there's players out there that feel the way that I said. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a great conversation.
And one had one coming right there. He basically put the nail on the head right there.
He said capitalism. The value that you bring to the market is the value that you're paid. And Mayor Sayers' talents sets the value. Whatever school want to pay you is what it is. Otherwise, yesterday's price ain't today's price, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I feel that. And that's just the way it is. So what? You like, whether it's player, whether it's coach. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It is what it is. Like you earn what it is. You got to earn it. You got to put the work in. And I feel that. You know what I'm saying? I think eventually we will see contracts made public, which won't be a good idea because fans will attack these players for not living up to expectations right away.
Oh, they're already doing that.
Yeah, they are. We're already doing that, and I think that, you know what I'm saying, that comes with the game, right? That comes with the game. If y'all in here giving me and D $20 super chats, we got to earn that, right? I would think, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Y'all expecting a good show every day, right? Or y'all expecting a good show. Y'all ain't expecting us just to pop up here and just stare at the screen with nothing to talk about, to throw money, right? Got to put in the work to do it. I'm just saying, like, that's just what it is. But I feel you on that. And expectations, you know, people get attacked all day, every day for that. And these players they're susceptible to that, not right now, because they're being paid. They're being paid for that. So I feel what you're saying, though. I feel what you're saying. Great point. Great point. Did you see the AD at Purdue walk back his comments and get shook, bro? Did you see that, DP?
No, I ain't see that.
Oh, man. My man was talking spicy. You know what I'm saying? The AD at Purdue came out and said, if you want to win, you come to Purdue. If you don't want to win, you go to schools like Indiana. But then D, he walked back his comment on the Pat McAfee show. He walks it back, bro.
He should have.
He walks it back. But listen, oh my God, like he ducking the smoke. Like, I gotta play it, bro, because he ducking the smoke. I'm like, wow, like what? Listen,
the kind of attempt there as you deliver a quote that has been heard by every human seemingly in the country at this point.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, obviously, I know that they won the national championship. I was at the game with my youngest son. I mean, and so I'm there. But to your point, I mean, listen, what makes college athletics great is rivalries, right? And I'm having a great day yesterday, giving our vision, sharing what we're going to do here at Purdue, how we're going to set the standard and raise the bar for what's possible. And, you know, I made an offhand, unscripted comment about an in-state rival that didn't land well, okay? And I knew it the second it left my
Not at all.
But at the same time, I'm also trying to establish what a standard is going to be like here at Purdue in order for us to achieve the things that we want to do. And you got to send a message to your fan base. But listen, I play golf. I'm sure you play golf. Hey, every now and then you line it up on the first tee and you're really excited about that round and y'all put it right into the water. Okay. So, hey, Pat, I got to put it back, tee it right back up. And I got 18 more holes to play.
Brother. See, Purdue is one of those schools. It look good on your diploma, on your degree. You feel me? You got a master's from Purdue. It looks good. You're a football player at Purdue. Nobody's worried about you. Nobody's scared of that. Now he got to give, even though they're an in-state rival, man. You don't have a Kurt Cinetti at Purdue, brother. If you want to do like that, you have to put all the money you can to get to your football program. You feel me? You got to get your boosters up there. You got to get a good head coach, and you got to get a coach that's going to develop some talent. Now, Indiana, even though they had a bad history, Kurt Cinetti, he don't did his thing, man. He don't want a natty and everything. It's hard to take shots at Indiana, man. That was crazy of him to say. I ain't even know he said that, Chubb. That's crazy.
Yeah, he said that, bro. He came out and he said that. And it was earlier this week that he came out and he said that. And now he walking it back. But I think, like, look, we all say things or do things that sometimes people don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And how things could be read, right? Because I've been through that situation here live on my show. I've been through that situation, you know what I'm saying, with two people, you know what I'm saying, in between it. So I get, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, sometimes. But if I'm just going to come out and call somebody out, and I ain't walking that back, man, who cares, bro? Who gives a fuck, D? Who cares, bro? I'm not walking that back. I'm standing on it. Yeah, that's what I mean, like. And then I might have to come out and just double down and say something crazy that people may not like or may not be popular with the people. Like, I said what I said. Like, yeah, they won a national championship last year, but before then, y'all had a history. Y'all are a historically bad program even after winning a national championship. So I would have stood on that, bro. I'm not walking it back. You know what I'm saying? It ain't on the Pat McAfee.
That's back like when I was a child, when the Air Force coach that got interviewed, and he like, we suck. We don't have players here. We don't have good time. The Air Force coach was blood raw said, we suck. We're trash. We're Air Force, man. We don't got no players here.
I mean, but I feel that that's being real. But it's one thing to walk your comment back, you know what I'm saying? Like, and do it like that. But hey, it's been done. But I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, I mean, yeah, it's true. But like what I said was also a true statement. Even still, I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken. And hey, Hoosier fans, I could be mistaken. I ain't like I checked it. But even still, after winning a national championship, we could check it live here on the show. We got time. We ain't doing nothing. We got time to check it. What is Indiana's football program's all-time winning record? You know what I'm saying? Even now, even after winning a national championship, what is that? Like, what did I say? All-time what?
All-time winning percentage, I think. Probably.
Okay.
Look that up, possibly.
Okay.
All-time I don't think I don't think their percentage went up too much higher, but just after what Kurt Cinetti did in a few years, they did move up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Indiana, they've been a bad program historically, but man, just to take a shot at a national championship winning coach who don't have 2 back-to-back double winning seasons, and you ain't beat them, I can see if you don't beat them or something like that. You ain't even much making the man coffee right. You ain't put no creamer in there. You ain't getting the man no sugar in his coffee, and he don't smack it out your hand.
So no, they have 41.3%. I guess they still 535 wins, 714 losses, and 45 ties.
And I'm sure Purdue looked
prior to this season. That was prior to last season. So they still there. You know what I'm saying? And they still there. Now,
look up Purdue also. I'm pretty sure they look similar to that.
Purdue? All right, let's look up Purdue's. Let's see where Purdue's is at. Let's see where Purdue's. They over 500. They right. They barely.
They got just as many wins as losses.
Yeah. Yeah. Barely. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, that was a bold statement to say. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He said maybe he wasn't talking about football. Maybe he wasn't talking about football. He's talking about football. He said, did Suge Knight come after Purdue and AD in the bathroom?
Hey, man,
you know what I'm saying? Like, did Suge pull up or something? Like, why you pulling back your comments, man? Like, man, stand on it, man. Stand on it, man. You You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
can't
Stand
make
on that
sense,
business, dog. You ain't got no nothing to be running from. You ain't got nobody to run from out here,
He
man.
backpedaling just in case he get blew out by Indiana.
Man, look, man. Yeah, you right. You right. Now, last topic we got on tonight, D, is that last topic before we get on up out of here. Bill Belichick's son, Steve Belichick, the defensive coordinator for North Carolina Tar Heels, announced on Thursday that he is indefinitely out due to medical leave. Bill Belichick did not provide any further details. He did not say whether Steve Belichick would be able to coach in the season opener against TCU in Ireland, noting only they look forward to getting him back as soon as possible. Bill Belichick said the defensive staff will work together to fill Steve's spot. If Steve Belichick is unable for the opener, Bill Belichick would then consider naming an interim coordinator, which we coach defense collectively as a staff, and we will continue to do that. That's what Bill Belichick has said. So Steve Belichick, 39, he was the defensive coordinator, North Carolina last season, spent it with his dad on the New England staff also. Now, this is surrounding the football program as fall practice begins last month. Michael Lombardi had been placed on leave for an investigation into conduct was underway of his conduct. Now, Steve Belichick on indefinite medical leave. Andrea Addison for ESPN, which is crazy. So, real quick, I don't really think that they was gonna have a super successful season this year. No how, but I will say that it's nothing good when somebody's leaving for medical leave. So thoughts and prayers, but you know what I'm saying, on that situation, I hope that they well. You know what I'm saying? Never want to see nobody going out for health reasons. But the defense at North Carolina, I don't know if they was going to have that season. They trying to rebuild something over there. They're trying to build. Don't know if it was going to happen this year. Now, next year, I'll be looking more towards them being successful. But this year, I don't think they was going to have that much success. What do you have to say about this, D?
Yeah, like you say, first, blessings to that man. Hopefully he get better, you feel me? Whatever wrong, hopefully, that pass him and he heal up and have a speedy recovery. But man, North Carolina, man, them boys probably finna get drugged. That man probably need to take some time off. He don't need to be stressed out like that. I don't know what Bill Belichick got going on. He came in last year talking about they the 33rd NFL team, and you seen what happened last time they played TCU. It was a straight embarrassment, man. But I hope his son get better. Shout out to Steve Belichick, get better, get right. But your dad, man, it might look ugly way to Ireland. You finna go way to Ireland just to get the smackdown put on you. Feel? They finna people elbow you. They finna RVD 5-star frog splash you. They finna Michael Sweet Chin music you. It's gonna get, because I heard they depending on freshmen this year, and I don't know how that's gonna work for you.
Right. I mean, that's why I said, like, I did. Next year is where we gotta put the measuring stick on them. This year is let's just put these guys on the field, get them some field experience, some college football experience, and hopefully they could probably do a better job recruiting next year and see what they got from the future years, bro. Juan cutting up. I can't even see the comment. I can't see the comment.
He's a funny
see
individual, dog.
I can't see it. He said, dang, Indiana win the national championship feel like a damn lie.
Hey, man, it's funny.
It is, don't it? He said, look like the AD took a pee in the urinals and saw Indiana's Schreiner and said, I have a Schreiner too. But then look at Purdue, then Schreiner, and then came up way short. Hey, dang. That's what she be telling you, Juan?
This man, Juan is an animal.
Juan over here trying to I don't know what's going on, but you in the comments and you, I don't know. That's what she say. I don't know, but I don't know. She ain't never told me that. You know what I'm saying? I'm short, but you know what I mean? I always told her, look, it don't matter when you laying on your back how tall I am.
Oh, boy, wow.
Now, let me stop, man. I ain't supposed to be that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a grown folks show. We grown out here. DP, do you want to let the people know where to tap in with you at and where you at on social media and everything, man?
come show me love at Daryl Page Talking Sport with DP, man. Same thing on TikTok, man. YouTube, come pull up on your boys. Football season, man. Them Canes, we finna do it big. And I also just talk about other college football sports. College football teams also with my dog Chubb. So, we're gonna do the thing this year.
That's right. That's right. Shout out to my dog, man. Shout out to my dog, DP. DP, thank you, man, for coming up, bro. I appreciate you coming to kick it with me, man, for a couple of hours, bro. I really appreciate that, your time today, man.
Yes,
Y'all can find us on, all social media. And y'all make sure that y'all tap in with the podcast too, man. Anywhere that you podcast at. Besides Apple, I don't know what's up with Apple. I guess you got to get a deal or something with Apple, but anywhere else, Amazon, all that good stuff, you could definitely get the podcast there. I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. No longer on Facebook. I'm on Instagram though. And here on YouTube, man, live. It's the football season, like DP said, man. Y'all gonna be seeing us out here kicking it. Shout out to Dusty and them. Shout out to Coach Pro. Shout out to my, shout out to my man B Trail. Did I forget anybody to shout out? You know what I'm saying? Help me out, D. There's a couple people out here that be rocking with us, man. You know what I'm saying?
So shout out to everybody, man.
Right.
Listen to most of I think about it. I about to say, shoot, you on Facebook tonight, baby, because we streaming on Facebook too.
right. Shout out to Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Juan. Shout out to Juan, bro. You got to come back. You super funny. Shout out to Artistically Incredible. Shout out to LNV, Ellen MVP up in the building. She be coming in here, you know what I'm saying, supporting you. Conlito's supporting us, I should say. I don't want to say you, but us. Shout out to Conlito's Way up in the building, man. Shout out to everybody that's down in the comments. If I forgot your name, Chris Kane. Shout out to you, Chris Kane. I seen Chris Kane in here earlier supporting D. And if I forgot you, man, that's my bad. But y'all, like I always tell y'all when I end the shows, no matter how much me cut up, this is a grown folks show. I always tell y'all, pray for yourself. Pray for each other. Pray for those who are in the comments because we always praying for y'all, man. And with that, I got to say peace. Go Buffs.